focus. But you have to wonder, for Flash Wolves, did they maybe sleep on HKE a little bit? Did they maybe not expect this level of play from them because they don't look like they've done nearly enough research? These comps feel thrown together, whereas the compositions from Hong Kong Esports feel practice and precise.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they want to do coming into this game. We can see already consistent bans returning. Vane Nidalee from the side of Hong Kong Esports, Rise, and Thresh going to come through. So we're seeing very similar ones. Actually, the Shen is going to be taken away by HKE, so this is a new one coming out. I don't think we've seen Shen. We saw Shen banned earlier.
And what this telegraphs, once again, is the Maokai first pick.
Yeah.
Shen considered generally an answer to Maokai. We've seen how well Stake can perform on that champion. So they know right now that Maokai will be the first pick, and they're going to ban their next champion based on that. My guess is that they will not ban the Gragas this time around. The Nidalee banned away already. So if they don't ban the Gragas, they're very likely to get it. However, they do opt for that, which means most likely what we will see from Mei.
Ooh, this could be interesting, and I like it. Morgana coming through. And so we've seen Ola play this one before, and he does pretty fantastically on it. So unsurprising that they want to grab that.
And the big issue, too, is we've seen Ola and Dinter work so well together with that Morgana Echo combo where you're guaranteed functionally 4.5 to 5 seconds of hard CC. And I mean, Flash Wolves haven't had to play against that yet, so they can take the Echo away. But if you take the Echo away, you're putting Dinter right back onto that Rek'Sai. And we've seen what exactly what Hong Kong Esports can do with global pressure. Personally, I still think the Alistar may be stronger, but I respect the pick potential coming out here from Hong Kong Esports. They know that Ola has had success on this in the past.
Yeah, so first round of picks going over here on the side of Flash Wolves. We can see Karsai, he's already playing around with this Echo yet again, just hasn't been able to be, overly effective on this, but he's still going to return perhaps with this lock-in as we near the last 5 seconds of this round picks. Maokai as well hovered here for Stake, likely going to be what he locks in. It will be, and actually the flip to the Sivir, I do have to really respect this for Flash Wolves. God JJ has been playing Sivir this entire time, and he's been delivering on it.
Yeah, and God JJ, this is good. This is what we talked about that they needed to change earlier when they were running their double scaling composition and they were starting to fall behind was you got to take away the Sivir. You have to limit God JJ's options to have this utility-based impact. And we've seen God JJ win one game on Corki, and it was without a doubt the worst game that Hong Kong Esports have played in the entire playoffs. It was a very sloppy win. They were very close to dropping the game to Midnight Sun. And so now we have to see HKE. This doesn't surprise me. With the Victor lock-in, this is Toys going back to a safe pick, something he knows he can have impact on, and they're not going to go for that global pressure comp again because they don't have the tools that they need to do so with the Sivir.
Yeah, so Victor coming in for him yet again, been very consistent on that throughout this series and the series yesterday. And of course, Dinter with that Rek'Sai, we saw how much havoc he was wreaking in that last game. He's going to be looking to have a repeat performance. Whether or not that's going to change without that Twisted Fate, like you said, they don't have that total global presence from the team. Not sure how that is going to change the play style here once we get into game. But we know that he knows how to play that Rek'Sai. So very safe pickup for him there.
And the big thing too was that the map mobility presented last game from HKE really let them make up for their general lacking in macro skill compared to the Flash Wolves. But this time around, I don't know if we'll see this, so I won't talk about it too much. This time around, we'll talk about it in a second. This time around, obviously, with Kramer having the Sivir, we haven't seen him play the Sivir really yet. We haven't really had any really impressive performances in that regard. But I'm wondering if, I mean, they just stole this composition from Hong Kong Esports. I'm loving this from the Flash Wolves.
Yeah, they're going to try their hand at this one. We can see Corsa just going in for that Evelynn. But I really don't like this pick into the Rek'Sai. We've gone over this all yesterday. He can spot her with the Tremor. It does not matter if she's visible or not. He knows exactly where that Evelynn's going to be. So interesting decision to go for that. It's going to have to excel early to make that pick work.
But remember that last time we saw Sword Art pick up this Braum was they didn't have the Evelynn, and I think it was a fundamental misread on what the Evelynn works well with. The Evelynn-Braum combo is just so brutal because Evelynn can remain invisible to the last possible second, and then Braum and Evelynn both will be on top of you, kind of taking it back to the old days of Evelynn where she used to have a stun. For those of you who didn't play during those days of League of Legends, it was a nightmare, be glad. But, I mean, it's very strong synergy, and it shows that they've identified how that composition worked, and it shows that they're looking to change their strategy, which is good. The other good news is that taking God JJ off Sivir also forces HKE into a very weird spot. They've been very reliant on getting early gold leads with the Sivir pushing, less so than early kills or early team fights. So now they don't have that same toolkit to get the early leads, and it's impossible. I'm trying never to talk about the hoverovers, but it's just so impossible not to be hyped. I want to see the Zed. I want to see the Zed. I love this champion so much. No.
Yeah, I think it's going to go for the Azir here.
Safe option. It's the safe option.
It is. It's got that scaling potential. It'll synergize well here with the rest of the team. We haven't really talked about this, though. The Azriel coming in the 80 carry role for God JJ. Interesting to see. This is something we saw Kramer play before.
This is like the hallmark 80 carry when you're not confident in your 80 carry's ability to win lane. Because Ezreal doesn't lose lane. Ezreal will go 50-50 pretty much with anybody because he can always farm safely with the Mystic Shot. So it looks like they're just like kind of similar. They just really are letting or taking the pressure off of God JJ this game, putting it back onto Mei with this Rumble in the top lane against Stake, a matchup we've seen be so successful. And the big question is going to be, what do they do with this utility? Can they make it work or without that utility of Sivir? Because Flash Wolves with a Sivir in their composition are going to do so well to move across the map. They now have the tools to generate an early lead. And when the team that's stronger in the macro sense has the early lead, it's so much harder to come back from. And now we see, I mean, the lineups once again, just so much power on the side of Flash Wolves, running a composition that they basically took from Hong Kong Esports. And Hong Kong Esports, it looks just like last game, but the Sivir not being here is a huge difference.
Yeah. This is really going to come down to how Kramer plays this in the bot side. Whether or not he can get going, or if this Ezreal pick is going to play out here for God JJ. He has an immense amount of harass. Sivir only has one spell shield every 12-ish seconds once you put a few points into it, so he should be able to get some decent harass down onto her, but even
we're going to have to see. Really get into the game in just a second here.
Need to get Mei into that opening.
Almost.
We
almost figured it out. We almost got the timing.
Yeah. All right, here we go, guys. We are on to the Rift for our fourth game, potentially final game of the night. HKE looking to close out this best-of-5 series as they are currently up one game over Flash Wolves, 2-1 in that regard.
And we have to remember that while Flash Wolves appear to have built a better composition, Hong Kong Esports are very aware that if they can find this early lead and they can snowball it, they will face AHQ tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have to find that confidence. They have to find it. But it's there, and the pressure now more than ever is on the Flash Wolves.
See if they're able to operate under that pressure or if they're going to crack.
Flash Wolves already telegraphing like they may want the lane swap for Sivir, wanting to safely scale up Kramer to that level 6. This is a strategy we saw the Hong Kong Esports use last night as well. A little bit different team composition, but very similar situations. They don't, interestingly enough, don't want to go into the Ezreal lane because they know a lot of their early strength will just be irrelevant. Because you're just going to push the Ezreal in and he's just going to farm, and you're not really going to be able to do too much. So they want to just snowball this level 6, and it looks like try to take towers as quickly as possible. Of course, this is the key player. I'm really surprised we didn't see this Twisted Fate again. 7-0-6, 5 towers destroyed.
Perfect game.
21k gold earned. Absolutely insane performance from Toys.
Yeah, just an absolute monster on that. It was a questionable pick on our end. We weren't sure how that one was going to play in, but they just operated that global pressure so well. But this time, playing a much different game. A lot on the line here for HKE. They need this early game to go well for them, else they face that ever-scaling pressure of Maple on his Azir. Had a rough game earlier on, but came back in the second one and just made it really work out.
Okay, so Rek'Sai starting with the red buff is a really odd choice. Usually it telegraphs a level 2 gank, just because by starting with the Krugs and getting that stun buff, you actually effectively have more health than you do from smiting the red. So I'm really not quite sure what the logic is behind that jungle decision. We'll have to see what they do with it.
Well, look at this roam up from the river. We could be seeing a 3-person gank on this mid lane with Ola coming in.
They're putting everything on this binding, though. If they miss the binding or the Rek'Sai knockup, they're not going to find anything.
Yeah, and they don't get the binding, so they're not going to be able to get anything. But they still do have God JJ alone in the spot side, getting that experience and that farm up. So Not losing too much. Sword Art is still wandering around as well.
Taking a brief look at the top lane, Sivir has been able to perfectly freeze this wave. No one is there to push her in and to break this freeze, which means she will be fine to just to wait to level 6, to build a massive wave, to push it into the tower, and then if the team wants to sync up and dive, they can, and if not, she'll still be able to provide a decent amount of pressure and potentially deny an immense amount of CS to Mei. I gotta say, I'm loving the strategy from the Flash Wolves. They know Stake was the weaker laner against Mei, and they're now positioned to deny this tower dive, and HKE are looking a little lost.
Yeah, but they are going to go ahead and try take away this blue buff, so not getting, they're not leaving without something, so taking that one away. You can see God JJ has to wrap around the long ways, does not want to get caught by any of these members of Flash Wolves here in this bot lane. And here we'll see he'll be able to start up that very safe farming. Actually, Ola coming through. Dinter gets a nice double knockup, but I don't know if there's going to be the damage to follow this one up. Stake's taken quite low, has to flash out. Just about a Mystic shot and a half away from going down, so good pressure put on there. But, that is a flash exhaust burned out for just a flash of Stake.
Well, true, and the big thing, too, is that Stake can just teleport back to lane, deny a lot of that pressure if they wanted to commit more, but they're not going to commit more because the wave was pushed all the way to the turret. So not only did that play not walk away with anything, it also denied a little bit of experience from God JJ, as well as a little bit of CS. So effectively, Hong Kong Esports gained absolutely nothing here. The good news is, Mei still has TP, still able to come back into this top lane, which means he's not going to be hit too hard in terms of CS.
Yeah, so doing what he can to pick up these ones underneath the tower. You can see that will start stretching him that lead over top of Stake, who is playing forward in this brush, just kind of sapping out that experience. Karsa's coming quite far forward, gets spotted out there by God JJ, who, yet again, he's going to be able to stay quite safe. Even if Stake wants to twisted advance onto him, he could always just use his E to jump underneath the tower and completely direct those tower shots onto him. Dinter, though, finding Karsa, playing quite far forward, has to peel back. They don't want this fight. It's a little too early for that, and I'll just go ahead and clear out that ward, and they will remain safe.
And they don't really have the tools to do so. The other big question for this Ezreal is, are we going to see the early tier itemization? Are they just going to accept that Ezreal will have no impact in the early game and go with that tier? Or do they want to try to force some early game impact out of this Ezreal by going for the early Trinity Force? Those are really the only two build paths that we've seen be viable. And since this is God JJ, I can only imagine him going one of those two ways. However, Ezreal, not a character we see too often, we could see something a little bit more flexible or a little bit more innovative from him.
Yeah, I'm not sure which I would like to see from him. The tier would certainly be good the later this game goes. That Muramana really be able to pump out the damage. But they might want to just try to flex their muscles early on so they can deal with and shut down Maple.
And Ezreal scaling is very important because he's a very safe AD carry late game. It's very easy to position. The attack speed scaling on his Rising Spell Force is so important. But the issue is you're not going to be able to match Azir at the end of the day. So I think the better option is the Trinity Force, which is a sad situation because I prefer the Muramana in general for Ezreal's, but I think that the way that they built their composition, once again, as they always do, has to be that mid-game focus.
Yeah. You can see Toy's taking away that blue buff. Maple doing a good job farming up, so Toy's a little bit behind. Should be able to get this wave almost in its entirety here. Actually, yeah, he should be able to take all of this. Very nice.
Perfect CS, as we'd expect.
Yeah, brings it right back in, only down 1 CS. Dinter maybe looking to pay a visit up here to Stake, but he gets spotted out, throws out that sapling as well for good measure. So he could slow him if he wants to try to come in for that gank, so not quite going to happen this time around. Stake learning from his past mistakes in that last match.
Yeah, knows to respect Mei now. Has learned that this guy is an absolute monster on the Rumble. Needs to respect that early game damage. Flame Spitter obviously just so powerful. Dinter doing a good job of clearing out this vision once again. We saw this.
Oh, yep. Maple coming in here, though. He's going to go ahead burrow in underneath into that Baron pit, but he gets twisted advanced on by Stake. Mei coming down. Dinter will be safe for the time being. Takes a bunch of damage, though, so might have to recall after the next couple camps that he takes. So it could delay his jungle very slightly. Karsa finding that pink ward. Toys, though, just the presence of Toys, that death ray is very deadly already. Keeps him away from that pink.
Definitely, and Evelyn can speed out of any slow she wants, but if the stun lands, she'll go down pretty quickly. Doesn't really have any defensive options without that Agony's Embrace that she'll pick up at level 6. Looking at Flash Wolves right now, they're playing a composition once again that looks very comfortable for them, where they can wait to scale with this Azir in the mid lane, where they have the tools to maneuver around the map very easily. But Karsa...
Oh, yep, twisted advance onto Mei to lock him down. Flash is still available, should not need it. Throws out the equalizer, in fact. Burns Karsa down to half HP. Those Turbo Shock Rockets or the Electro Harpoons are really doing work here. He trades that back quite effectively.
I love how we see the skin so often that we just don't even call the skills the name anymore.
Yeah, it's not the electro
turbo shack.
Yeah.
Righteous Giga Guard.
The righteous
Yeah.
I don't know if I call it that. Oh, here comes the Shurima Shuffle. Toys eating that tower. Has to pop his heal. Flash still available. The Chaos Storm going through Maple. He's completely out of mana, but Toys can't follow up in time with that final death ray to get the killing blow. Little bit more cooldown reduction. He likely would have been able to have that.
True, but also just a little bit more mana in the hands of Maple would have made that happen for him. So just an unfortunate circumstance for Maple. Clearly had the mechanical outplay in that exchange, but not the good, not efficient enough at managing his resources in that exchange. And just a sad state of affairs for Maple, because finding that early advantage would be huge for that late game scaling champion to be ahead of the Victor, who's so dominant early in the game.
You see Dinter has completed the Global Grand Prix, wandering all the way around that map now. Says, you know what, I'm going to go ahead back and buy, pick up a couple items. Void rushes straight back over.
Oh, God, JJ's ultimate coming out.
True Shot Barrage. He thinks that he's going to be able to steal away this blue buff, but they're not even taking it, because Karsa is just sitting in the mid lane and he's being taken so low by Toys. One more death ray would have been able to do that one, but he gets out of range in time. Toys says, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this wave. I'm going to back now.
Yeah, the early pressure, though, is letting Maple get that farm for free. And once Maple gets that Merlinomicon, the wave gets way easier to manage, gets a little bit more attack speed, able to do so much more effectively. Yep. Unfortunately, Dinter being spotted out here, so not going to have too much of an impact here on the top side of the map. But, you know, the massive CS average. Look at this, 54 to 27.
Over twice as much. Oh, Ola, though. Almost getting sunned out by those concussive blows. Sword Art doing what he can. God JJ just trying to keep Kramer pushed off as best as he possibly can. He's losing in CS by 15 right now, so the Civ are doing quite well. Looks like he will be doing that Trinity Force. So you can see the Sheen coming in, the Longsword ready to go for that phase as well.
Yeah, a good choice and a good read coming in from Hong Kong Esports, I think, wanting to make sure that they hit their power spikes at a similar time. Trinity Force obviously a little bit faster than that Muramana. The big difference here in these two guys right now is that obviously God JJ is weak right now. Kramer's aware of this, so he built the early Avarice Blade, rushed it, and is now getting more out of each and every single creep than God JJ. Not looking to push an early advantage because he knows he already has it. Doesn't want to overextend it. Knows he's not going to be able to dive this very safe Ezreal Morgana bottom lane. Instead, focusing on getting himself to that.
Oh, not so safe after all. Ola has to flash to get out here. Now Karsa gets exhausted out. God JJ doing what he can to return some fire here. Spell Shield not going to eat anything for Kramer. True Shot Barrage goes out. Goes a little bit wide, though. Doesn't hit any of the enemy characters, but he will be able to clear out this wave with relative ease. A near panic situation there for Ola. Has to burn both summoners yet again.
This is very good on the side of HKE to pull away from that one, making sure to get out. Ola playing very safe.
Oh, Dinter goes over the wall, gets a pop-up on the Karsa. The Chilling Smite goes through. He does not have flash. Looks like he's going to go down for the first blood. Can he get it? Yes, he does. He gets it with a Prey Seeker. Dinter picking up the first kill there for Hong Kong Esports.
The quick burrow into Prey Seeker, just barely getting that kill, even after the
binding
flash.
lands onto Maple. That's going to be the gravity field. He can't go anywhere. Chaos Storm. Emperor's Divide comes across, but it completely whips. Now Sword Art leaping forward. Throws out that Q to try to slow out Ola, but it looks like that's just going to be the disengage. Fantastic catch, and that's going to lead HKE straight over to the first dragon of the game.
And HKE playing so well, finding those picks. Dinter, once again, this guy was in a different tier of jungler. No one ever thought he would perform this well, but he is stepping up in a way we didn't think possible. Now securing that first dragon over to the side of HKE, and Flash Wolves haven't been able to do anything.
Fantastic claps by them. God JJ getting his back stopped here by Sword Art, but there's not going to be any further follow-up. Dinter sticking around to clear out these minions underneath the tower. Such good timing by him to show up around that wolf camp and find that first blood onto Karsa.
And Ezreal has his ultimate available, so despite the fact that Sivir is pushing in, they should, in theory, be able to clear out this wave. The good news is if Sword Art can react fast enough, he can block it with the Unbreakable. So they can get this bottom lane turret, but it's on Sword Art to block this out, unless he doesn't want to fire it, knowing that.
Yeah, he's holding onto it for sure. Sword Art actually not even in position anymore to use it. Looks like they're just going to run back. The tower will fall, which actually gives a very slight gold lead to the Flash Wolves, but the dragon one ever so slight, but the dragon will equalize
stats will even that out, especially on Ezreal, who gets the benefit of both the AD and the AP, and utilizes both very well. But it is a little bit of a fumble. I feel like they could have used the Ezreal ultimate. Maybe God JJ, just knowing that Sword Art would have blocked it. Obviously, a very experienced player, not going to fall for something like that. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just that dragon trade.
Oh, look at this. Nice twisted advance to get out of that equalizer, but the Soul Shackles have come through. He will get locked down. The binding as well to follow up. That's a huge flame spitter. He goes down. Dinter takes away that kill.
And just beautiful, beautiful play there. Unfortunately, Ola, of course, getting twisted advance on, takes him out of the equalizer, but when you lock them down with the binding, which base damage is already so high, and on top of that, in the Tormented Soil, you're just getting so much damage paired with that Rek'Sai.
Oh, that's on the
May in
hunt
trouble.
popped, and May in a bad spot. That's going to be Glacial Fissure, but it does not pop anybody up. Sword Art whiffing that one, now taking a lot of return fire from that Flame Spitter. Going to have to peel back off of this one. May a little too low though. He's going to have to back out. Teleport is available, so he should be able to recall and come back and not lose any of this wave. Dinter sticking around, gets that pink, burrows straight into the Baron Pit, keeping himself safe.
And the big thing, once again, about this Braum is that Braum is not an engaged champion. The nature of Glacial Fissure is that it's just not a reliable way to hit your opponents. The projectile is too slow. It takes so much time to cast. It telegraphs its cast. It's not an Alistair headbutt.
Oh, Dinter's actually going in onto Sword Art, gets a lot of hits in. So is that the Prey Seeker. Kramer will eat that one with his spell shield. Good mitigation there, but Dinter is just playing insanely and without fear.
Yeah, definitely. But we have to remember that Azir scaling is still going to be a huge factor here for the Flash Wolves, and despite Hong Kong Esports finding that kill, they don't find a greater objective here. They're not able to transition that kill into a Dragon, into a Baron, into anything, really. So it's just a small gold advantage, just maintaining that, or giving themselves a very small lead here, mostly present in the jungler for Dinter, allowing him to pick up that early Sightstone, which may lead to something greater.
We'll see. Dinter is going for the steal here, but Sword Art spots it, as does Karsa. He's got tunnels available. He's just going to go ahead and ride a new one straight out into that Baron Pit yet again. He will keep himself safe. Got JJ in the meantime. Sticking around this bot side. Almost gets the steal. He's sticking around this bot side, trying to catch back up and farm. It's just down by 4 now. We can see the Phage has been completed. Needs that Zeal. And then just a few pieces of gold to finish out this Trinity Force, which is going to be a massive power spike for him as Kramer gets ready to get that Infinity Edge for himself.
Yeah, and the Infinity Edge obviously going to be a huge factor. If he decides to finish the attack speed boots right now, we'll know that he's much more focused on pushing down these early towers, because of course you can't crit a tower, so you just get more of a benefit from that early attack speed. However, if he goes for the Infinity Edge, it'll telegraph that Flash Wolves are more looking for a fight, looking for more skirmishes with the early Chi Force or the early Infinity Edge power spike. Of course, Ezreal has now finished that Trinity Force for himself, and that's a pretty massive spike in his advantage if Sivir cannot finish up this Infinity Edge.
Looking pretty good. We can see just 500 gold, less than 500 gold, currently separating both of these teams. Toys doesn't want to stick around to get that pink, and for good reason. Karsa is hovering ever so nearby.
And I'm really wondering what the next move is going to be from both of these teams, because obviously Dragon coming up in a minute and a half is a pretty big factor for both teams to consider. Hong Kong Esports have yet to use the 5th Dragon, really, or get to that point. They always get to the 5th Dragon and never take it, but it is always a looming threat, especially...
Dinter's coming around the bot side here. Equalizer comes across. Stake is completely caught into this one. Burned down to half HP. May trying to catch up as best as he can. Throws out the rockets to slow him up. He should be able to get this one with a Flame Spitter, and it looks like he will. May taken down Stake with the help of Dinter. A very nice rotation down to the bot side. You were wondering what the next move was. There it is.
Small pick, but can they transition it once again into an objective? Dragon still a minute out. Gotta say, though, a little bit of a fumble from Stake
well,
there.
They might be able to get this catch on the Karsa. Nice flash. Will keep him safe. Will lose his Gromp, however. Good rotation from Toy, so another spell down on the side of Flash Wolves. HKE are playing this so well. Prey Seeker almost denying the back. But you can see that pressure on the bot side of the map is being added in by May right now. They may be able to take this tower and finally break the turret line.
It's true. They should be able to push in here. Obviously, just so much threat coming in from Rek'Sai. The Tremor Sense will spot out these two people approaching, as well as the wards provided by...
Ooh, Dinter finds Sword Art. Gets a whole lot of damage in onto him. May playing 4 and have to respect Kramer, though. He's coming back in with that Infinity Edge. This tower's only down to half HP. It looks like they may have to peel out of this one, but now Toys is coming around the side here.
And Ezreal's pushing in the top lane as well, so Flash Wolves need to make a decision.
There is a teleport available for Stake, however. They have to be very careful with how they play this, or else they could throw this entire game early on. It's going to be Stake going in onto God JJ, throwing down a lot of damage. Those double Doran's rings really showing through. God JJ's going to have to chug up what potions he does have, and maybe peel back a little bit out of this lane.
Yeah, Stake pretty easy for him to contest the Ezreal at this point because Ezreal just does not do enough damage. Stake has far too much health, is going to heal up from a number of Ezreal's ability, both the Essence Flux and the Arcane Shift. So not really a viable opportunity for for God JJ at this point to duel. However, Dinter now headed up to this top lane. We could see some more pressure coming down here as Ezreal is now going to push out this bot, potentially deny this Sivir push.
HKE is going to have to be careful about showing Dinter in that top side of the map because the dragon has spawned, is available, and I'm sure that the Flash Wolves would not mind jumping onto that as quickly as they possibly can. We can already see some vision coming out as Sword Art hovers around that pit. It's only going to be a matter of time before either of these teams go for it.
And we just have to remember that the huge advantage right now is for HKE. They have the Victor, they have the Rumble, two very powerful mid-game champions, very early power spikes. The Abyssal Scepter are going to take out everybody's early magic resist, make it that much easier for Toys to rip through the health. Toys, additionally, very close to this Luden's Echo. And so, overall, HKE have a huge advantage here. The big question is whether or not they're going to try to utilize it at a dragon fight, or if they're just going to keep pushing in these turrets.
I think they're going to be happy to do either one. Getting these towers will definitely give them a definitive lead. Ola, the Shurima shuffle comes through and it pushes him back. He gets hit up by that Glacial Fisher. He's taking so much damage. He will go down. But what is HKE going to take for this one? Toys already getting one kill, but they're paying for it and throws. Now Stake, he's trying to do what he can and get back underneath the Sanctity of this tower. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. God JJ trying to get that kill out, but it doesn't look like he can. May still playing quite far forward. Flashes in, gets the overheat onto Sword Art. He takes him down. It's a 2-for-2 even trade, and now Dinter trying to get onto Kramer, who pops on the hunt here. Dinter has to be careful, does not want to dive underneath that tower. He will peel back, but that should be enough for HKE to get in and take this dragon.
Yeah, and it looks like they maybe not...
Oh, they're going to pinch around the side here. Completely pin him in underneath of this turret. They have to be careful. The Kramer might be able to kill Dinter before the rest can collapse downward, and they have to run through this turret.
They needed to take Dragon here. This is a huge fumble for them to try to stay around too long to take Kramer. Kills. League of Legends is not team deathmatch. It's about objectives, and when you play it like team deathmatch, you very quickly lose games. Good on HKE now to identify that they still have the opportunity to take the Dragon, but Stake is here. Stake can contest.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and get this one. Smite not even needed. Got JJ for the confirm. Just cannot run in onto that. So 6-2. They get 2 kills. Flash Wolves suffering a little bit in this game, though, and now down 2 dragons.
Still very large advantage for HKE, obviously.
They haven't even taken the turret.
No, not even yet. So a lot of this gold advantage that we see on the side of Flash Wolves can be turned around very quickly if they're able to pressure these towers. And of course, Ezreal may not have that same tower pressure utility with On the Hunt, but the Essence Flux does still give an attack speed steroid to his allies and will make it that much easier if he wants to pressure.
Keeps trying to take this blue buff.
One day.
It might happen, but if anything, all he did was help out Maple a little bit.
He's got the read on the timers. He's just always off by like 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah.
He's like, Flash Wolves, why aren't you taking your buffs right as they come up, guys?
It's like, man, Flash Wolves are being so inefficient about their timers. Stake, though, getting caught out in this Baron pit. They're actually going to go ahead and activate the Baron to just burn through him. The Chaos Storm comes out. Actually, no, it didn't even come out. That was the Tormented Soil that I saw. I just saw a massive AoE. And not even needed. Stake going down yet again. 1-3-0. The flash forward. That's going to be the Soul Shackles. Kramer tries to flash out of that one, but he's still just getting burned out by this Chaos Storm. He will be able to run out. Flash heal and On the Hunt popped. Meanwhile, Dinter in the bot side takes down the first tower for HKE.
But he flashes the initial cast of of the Chaos Storm from Victor, so denies a lot of that damage. I think flashing forward may have been the better choice, but instead chooses to flash back, breaks the tether, gets out, and then uses that movement speed to run back through it, taking much less damage just from the ticks, and makes it to safety. Maybe a little bit of a misplay, but makes it away with his life, and at the end of the day, that's what matters here, and that's what's keeping this tower alive.
Yeah. Oh, wow, look at that damage going over onto Karsa. Just that binding and these Mystic shots coming through, starting to deal some significant damage here. God, JJ is starting to take off on this Ezreal. We'll have to see what he wants to do with the rest of this build path, though, because I mean, he can go a million different ways with this.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the early Blade of the Rune King just because of how many people want to get on top of this Ezreal.
Yeah.
This will give him a lot more potential to duel out the Evelynn. If she uses her speed steroid, to get close, she can't, deny the movement speed slow from the Blade of the Rune King. So a little bit more flexibility here.
3v3 in the top Sword Art, doing what he can to deny this wave. Kramer taking a lot of Mystic shots to the face, though. And now Dinter coming up as well. That's going to be the ultimate. Not going to hit anything, but it does weaken this wave quite significantly, so God JJ should be able to clean this up. Meanwhile, Toys pushing down this tier 1 in the mid. Maple coming in, but it's too little too late. That one will go down, so now 2-1 in that regard. You can see the gold lead just stretching for HKE.
5K. That is absolutely insane. The third tower is going to drop. It's going to go up to about 6K as they move in. The Dragon coming up in a couple minutes here. And this is excellent objective managed from HKE. They push down the towers simultaneously. They have had solid wave control with this Ezreal. While their map movement hasn't been as good, the wave control has been insane. The true shot barrage, as I struggle to find the word for it, allowing them to push in waves much more effectively from a solid range, and Sword Art really not effectively blocking those out.
Not at all. Ola does get his back interrupted there, but it's not going to harm him too much. We can see May coming down to this bot side, getting these waves and taking these Krugs as well to just stretch this CS lead that he has so commandingly had over Sig pretty much throughout this entire series. 148 to 109. I'd love to see the gold as well because he is 4-0-1 on this Rumble. So absolutely taking off. You can see the Abyssal Scepter already completed with the Leandries on the way. He's got that Haunting guys ready to go and a needlessly large rod in his pocket. That's going to be the Zonia's. He is a monstrous Rumble right now.
And I'm wondering what exactly HKE are going to do next, because once again, the thing that they've always struggled with, we talk about this time and time again, is mid-game pushing for something greater. The tier 2s have always been an issue for them. They've broken the tier 1s. They found all of the early kills, all of the early dragons. They have a massive advantage. So what are they going to do? Are they going to push in for more picks? Are they going to try to outplay their opponents rotationally, something very difficult to do when the enemy team has a Sivir? What is their option here? Right now, I want to see picks. I want to see them use this Rek'Sai to force kills down in these lanes, to never let Flash Wolves be safe under their own turrets or safe push this far up, especially in the case of Maple.
Oh, yeah, Maple gets bound out. That's going to be the true shot barrage. Guaranteed hit. Burns him down to half HP and sends him running.
That was AP Ezreal, like I'm dead right
now. Oh, yeah, that would have been very, very dead Maple. But, unfortunately,
thank
Toys...
God for Runeglaive nerfs, ladies and gentlemen.
That and Toys has some dignity. I will not win this best of 5 with AP Ezreal.
Got to ban out the Rise, though, because no one has enough dignity not to play Rise. Right?
That is very true. Well, except for Steak.
We'll call it dignity, yeah. Steak, still struggling to make an impact. Clearly just getting outclassed by May right now. And, this voice of authority
look at that hit.
For the team, not really bringing them together to make, smart macro plays. Kramer on one of the strongest AD carries in the meta right now. Sivir hasn't been able to make an impact, making more of an impact on off-meta picks like Jinx, and it's a little bit tough for Flash Wolves to see that they're not able to put together enough of an impact with this, because Sivir should be taking all of these early towers for free. It's the strength of her kit, but we're not seeing it now.
Look at that. Steak doesn't even want to stick around to finish off the Krug. Taken away by May. Dinter has just been sitting in this Gromp pit, spotting everyone with his tremors. He's like, I don't care if I don't do anything. I know exactly where all of you are, and that is more valuable to me than any of the gold that I could get from killing things.
Yeah, and he's just taking all the camps as well as he goes through. So he's like, I'll give up my jungle, but I'm taking yours.
They're also primed for this blue buff. So let's see if
Ezreal does have True Shot barrage,
God, JJ.
and they do have vision.
It's your time to shine.
Guaranteedly going to cast it in the next 2 seconds.
Oh, no. He didn't do it. I
up.
probably would have stolen it too.
Karsa
gets bound up. That's going to be Dinter. He gets a nice double knock up. The Chaos Storm comes through. May finishes off that kill, and that's going to be God JJ getting the second one. It's a 2-0 so far. Steak on the backside. The exhaust comes across. He's in a very bad spot. Flash is available. Has to use it over the wall.
Oh, the binding still hits.
The binding still connects. That's going to be the true shot barrage following through. Steak down to half HP. Dragon up. HKE completely primed to take this one. And now they have to get out of that one. Use the Arcane Shift to get away from those Sand Soldiers because they still have to respect Maple's damage. But this is going to be third Dragon for Hong Kong Esports, who are just commanding this game on all fronts right now.
And that coordination and timing of that engage was flawless because they transitioned perfectly from snagging those kills into taking that. Also, look at the stack damage there. Ola binding into the Equalizer, into the Chaos Storm. Anyone caught in there would die in an instant. The magic damage base AoE is just too strong, and we look at Karsa right now. He has not finished the locket. He is not mitigating any of this damage for his team, and he gets getting caught out.
This is just phenomenal play coming in from HKE, but it looks like they might be just returning to their old tactics here and just going near this Baron. Dinter there to spot them out this time, however, so they're not even going to be able to start it, but you could see they were pretty much completely primed to try to take that one. They will have to back off, maybe get this mid tower, but the rest of Hong Kong Esports is showing up to try to stop this push.
Yeah, and this is... For HKE right now, they're playing so confidently. once again, a different team than we've seen before, but for Flash Wolves, they need to bring it together. They cannot sit back and wait for Maple to scale anymore. It's not a viable strategy, especially as HKE gain confidence in their ability to force objectives in the mid game. That was the weakness that let Flash Wolves wait and scale, that let Flash Wolves get to that double Jinx Azir late game competition.
Look at Dinter, he doesn't care. That's going to be the teleport in from May as they pop up. Sword Art, he's going to get melted. God, JJ finishes him off with a true shot rush. Maple doing what he can over the wall with these Sand Soldiers. Does work down Ola quite low, but here comes Toys around the sidelines, and this should be the opening that they need to take down this tier 2 tower.
Ola constantly threatening with those binds. Steak in trouble
yeah,
here.
he's taking a lot of damage. Maple goes in, gets the nice shifting stance over there and takes down, oh, doesn't take down God JJ. Actually, Toys gets in here and takes down Maple. He gets the double kill coming in. And oh my god, what an incredible play coming through. They take down this tier 2 tower as well. HKE completely hurt, but they still come out on top with a 3-0.
And look at these score lines. 5-0-4 for May, the new player. 2-0-6 for God JJ, the one we thought was a Sivir bot.
Look at this.
Beautiful.
Just Dinter doesn't care. Says, I'm going to kill your pink ward, and then I'm going to kill you. The teleport in from May comes in. True Shot Barrage to finish this out.
And look at how much damage the Equalizer did with just 2 ticks onto Kramer. Just no option to respond there. And
fast forward through. Steak just gets devastated.
And look at this. Beautiful shuffle. Tries to E over the wall. Can't quite get it. Okay, flash. Deal. Good trade, Maple.
No, he flashed first and then E'd over the wall. But still, oh, and now Sword Art getting caught out yet again. The Glacial Fissure not going to connect. He's going to go down. Toys with that empowered auto attack off the Siphon Power. Just ripping through the ranks of Flash Wolves.
Flash Wolves are not playing to their strengths. They're trying to mimic a composition built in front of them by HKE, and it is not working. Sword Art is not a Braum player. Where is the Janna? Where is the Alistair? Why are these champions not being picked? Why does he keep playing this champion that he has not found success on? Kramer trying to get something back, but they're giving up this Baron.
Yep, there's no way that they can get this one. Sure, they take down the tier 2 tower, but that's all they're going to get. First Baron of the game goes over to HKE 29 minutes into this game.
9K
phenomenal
gold
play. Yeah,
9K gold lead.
Phenomenal play from these guys coming out right now. It's so good. 13-2. 3 dragons. Still complete control of the dragons. Only up a tower, but it doesn't even matter right now. They can push in wherever they want, especially with this Baron buff now.
And we always talked about Toys being that veteran voice, being, you know, he's been to Worlds. He knows the pressure. He performs so well under pressure, and it looks like that strength of his is carried to the team as well, because right now when the pressure is on, God JJ has showed up. May, this new player, was in the army for years, they said, just coming back in the last month to play and outmaneuvering and outplaying Steak, who plays this game every day for the last year.
Yesterday was his first tournament that he's played since he joined the army.
He said, I don't think he'll see play again. I think maybe
we'll
go back.
Oh, I think he got it. Yeah, he got it. He stole the red buff.
Finally.
Can't get the blue. Can't get the blue buff, but he can get the red buff. Dinter going in. A beautiful equalizer. Only gets to pop up on the Karsa, but that's going to be the binding for the follow-up with the Soul Shackles. Karsa completely gone. May finds that kill, and now they can pressure in this top tower and more. Toys is bringing up that mid lane. They might go for an inhibitor.
I think they will. They should be able to break this one down instantly. Maple, the only one left to protect, as Kramer has to go back due to mana issues, but beautiful play from Hong Kong Esports to push in here to take down this inhibitor with such confidence. Who is this team? 10K gold lead and an inhibitor broken at 31 minutes.
Even last night when we saw Hong Kong Esports play against Midnight Sun, an arguably weaker team compared to Flash Wolves, they didn't dominate as hard as they're doing right now, and they're fighting an uphill battle as far as the standings go. Hong Kong Esports are just playing out of their minds absolutely right now. This is insane, and we are over a 10,000 gold lead now.
And this is Flash Wolves, I feel like, dropping the ball. I don't know what changed. Maybe it's this patch. Maybe their strategies just have not kept up. But Hong Kong Esports busting out Ezreal, a character we almost never see. Weaker by any standard than the Callista or the Sivir that we see in the hands of Flash Wolves right now, but they're making it work. They're making this power, that AoE damage, they're adding it to their already existing AoE damage, and May and Dinter, 2 players who have never played together, have been on point in timing the knockup with the equalizer. Additionally, the snare from Ola flashing forward constantly, just because that skill shot is so slow to get closer, so there's no opportunity to dodge it on the side of Kramer. 17 seconds of the Dragon. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and this is one that Flash Wolves need. I mean, they already have the Baron for a little bit longer here. If they make it to the 5th Dragon, then that really is all she wrote. Hong Kong Esports are just playing such a dominant game. Now with that inhibitor down, they can pressure pretty much anywhere they want on the map. You can see they're going straight for this dragon as it spawns. It's going to be the 4th one, and it's going to be, taking these map objectives and minions that much easier.
And they've already, think about it, Dinter's already controlled the enemy jungle, so having this buff to damage to monsters is going to make it that much easier to shut Karsa out. Karsa on this Evelynn, a champion he has really never played. 0-4-1. Sword Art picking up a champion that he is also inexperienced on in the form of Braum, 0-4-2. And it seems like Flash Wolves have overestimated the power of these champions as opposed to the practice of the strategy, which is really what made them work for Hong Kong Esports. And Hong Kong Esports aren't done. They're pushing in now for yet another inhibitor.
Yeah, and they can do just that. And we can see Kramer, he's trying to get the split push, but nothing that he can gain here will be better than the inhibitor that HKE has in their eyes. He's going to have to back as soon as this wave is dead. And we can see they're already onto this tower. The Baron has expired. Sword Art playing for it as best as he can. Ola goes in very deep here, has the Soul Shackle with a beautiful equalizer. That's a true shot barrage comes through. That's 2 members going down, and they're both playing up to the fountain. They want to win the game right here. Karsa almost going down to that Chaos Storm. Kramer comes in. He's got that on the hunt pop, but May's just keeping them relegated straight into the fountain. They're onto the Nexus turrets. The first one's going to fall. I think they're going to do it right here. HKE are looking to close out the game and the series. And it looks like they're going to be able to do that. Dinter almost going down. He does go down. Kramer finds that one. HKE has to play the rest of this very carefully. If they lose here, it could be a potential
HKE
turnaround.
backing off. HKE know they can't push this out. They're playing so patient. They're backing off. They took that massive advantage and gold in their favor, but they are not going to end the game here. Flash Wolves, they say no. 42 minutes, boys. That's the stat we were given. That's the time we're going to take at least if we cannot turn this game around. Flash Wolves playing very well, very defensively. Good ult from Kramer, trying to bully them out, but HKE have a massive, nearly insurmountable gold lead, and we are once again in the position where HKE can take that 5th dragon.
Oh, wow. I find it very impressive. They actually didn't even take the second inhibitor. They went straight for the Nexus Tower, got that one down. Just wild play coming out from HKE, and very smart on them to back out, losing Dinter. If you lose Dinter, that's a huge hit to your morale. You got to pull out of there. So very smart by them to just go ahead and back out. And you can see Dinter's going straight back to his old ways.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to get a replay of that fight or not as Dinter pushes in here, may find Karsa.
Yep. No, he's not going to go for it.
We need to look at how good Ola was. Finds the binding, flashes in, gets the 2-man Soul Shackles. As Azir comes in to push him out, to deny the Soul Shackles, the perfect Zanya's Hourglass with the equalizer over the top.
On the hunt has been popped. May throws out the equalizer. Speaking of, uses that scrap shield, trying to get him out. The Zonya's so well timed. God, JJ takes down Kramer just in time. Now Sword Art looks like he's going to be the next one to fall as the true shot barrage comes in. Eats it with the shield. Quite nice. Empress Divide comes across, but here comes Toys on the backside. Melts him out. The Death Ray getting himself the double kill as Sword Art falls. It's just Steak and Karsa left alive, and I think this might be the game finally for HKE.
May with the TP back in, trying to find Steak.
Oh, just for good measure, they take down Steak. May finds that kill. They're going to go on to the last Nexus Tower. They're going to go on to the grand finals tomorrow. HKE, they take down the Flash Wolves.
They take a set that no one in their right mind thought they would win. Every arena caster, us as casters, 3-1 in the favor of Flash Wolves. Everybody voted it. We thought HKE might skim a game off the top. They took everything from the Flash Wolves in this set. Absolutely insane.
My God. The last thing that I expected from this best of 3, we saw the vote in favor of HKE. The fans knew, they believed so hard, and
Look
HKE
at
delivered.
Oh,
Look at him.
God.
He is
That is a man who
so
stole
happy.
a Baron to keep them in game 1. That is a man who turned everything around, and when it mattered, HKE played their game perfectly, time and time again. That map movement composition executed so well. The Flash Wolves didn't know what to do, and the Flash Wolves in game 4 panicked in picks and bans. They took picks they did not know how to play, picks that they had not practiced enough with, and as a result, HKE said, okay, you want to run our composition? Well, fun fact, we've been playing it in every game so far. We will turn it around on you instantly.
That's the thing. When you play a composition so much, you know how to play against it, and Hong Kong Esports just coming out with such a dominating force in the last 2 games. Just phenomenal play by them.
And you got to think, if Flash Wolves didn't prep, if they were just not prepping as much for HKE, if they were focused on the AHQ, all that prep went to waste. That has got to be such a tough loss to face. But at the end of the day, HKE have shown us why they deserve to be a top team here in the LMS.
Yeah.
They came through in a best-of-5 setting. without a doubt, the most skill-intensive setting. Everyone in the world agrees. Best of 5. If you want to prove you're a better team, that's how you do it. And tonight, HKE are the better team.
That they are winning 3-1 over the Flash Wolves. These guys are going to advance to play AHQ tomorrow night in the grand finals. Absolutely phenomenal play from every single player on the team. There really wasn't a weakness for HKE.
No, we thought it was God, JJ. We thought it was May. May beat Stake out of lane, outfarmed him a 40 CS differential early on into the game, and God JJ, we're like, okay, this is an Ezreal pick. They're mitigating pressure, and then, but at the end of the day, he showed up.
Oh yeah.
He found those kills in team fights. He found everything that he needed to find, and as a result, the team won the game. Just amazing. Cannot give enough credit over to HKE. They performed above and beyond anything that they thought they would, and Flash Wolves, they're a team that's so smart. Normally in picks and bans, they pick teams that are going to work for them, and I felt like when they picked a team comp that worked in the second game, they needed to stick with it, but they didn't. It feels like they panicked, and that's never what you want to see from a top team.
Yeah, you need to keep calm. You need to be cool and collected when you move into these best of 5s, and they just kind of fell apart there in that last game. But I mean, as much as they fell apart, we still just cannot sing enough praise for HKE, who played a phenomenal best of 5 set, giving up just one game and then going 3-1. It's just
and a team that has developed so much over the course of the season. Starting out 5 bruiser comps, this Urgot, this Nautilus, Cho'Gath in the mid lane, Sejuani in the jungle, whoever they could in the top, Maokai. And now building much cleverer compositions. The Eve Braum, really utilizing that to flank along with the Fizz, using this Rumble, Victor, Morgana to
bring out the Twisted Fate in the second last game. It's phenomenal. Just all of their play tonight was so great to see, and this is a team that has been fighting and just vying for that top spot, and they've pretty much earned it. All they have to do now is face off against HQ, which is going to be one of the most exciting best of 5 sets. This had me going, I cannot wait for tomorrow night because, oh my god, it's going to be insane.
Insane play for both sides. I mean, Flash Wolves getting beaten out just like Midnight Sun, and that's just not what we expected. But at the end of the day, I mean, AHQ, we're looking at Toys, the god of control mages, versus Westor, the undisputed god of assassins, and
it's going to be a showdown of the century. You can see right here how it has progressed. So Hong Kong Esports, this theme seems to be 3-1s as they advance up the ladder. So yet again, the big question is, how can they do against AHQ? And we're going to just have to wait to find out. Yeah, so I cannot wait to see these games. I hope you guys will be joining us. We'll be back tomorrow again at 5 p.m. Cannot wait to see this. It's going to be one hell of a best of 5 from myself, from Sifa, from the broadcast crew here. We bid you guys good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
HKE 是拿了一个3-1的胜利，我们这边马上来请到我们的中路选手 Toys 来接受我们的赛后访问。
大家好，我是 Toys。
哇，其实 Toys 我们只有做一些赛前访问影片嘛，然后那时候你有说你最近的状态是非常的好，你怎么样？今天满意吗？
那些都客套话了。
客套话就是说自己状态好而已。但其实今天可以看到你中路的确是非常的高伤害，在你的巴龙战，你的维克特偷到巴龙，你要不要谈谈那个会战？
那个会战哦。运气啊，只是他们是差自己中几失误而已。然后其实我没有想过我又偷那个巴龙，但是刚好偷到了。
哦，所以其实你没有刻意要去点巴龙，就是刚好伤害把巴龙打死。哇，那有被吹捧吗？队友之类的？
吹一下应该的，应该要吹一下的。
因为之前有问过
4个人一起吹我，应该不错。
好，之前问过你们队伍，他们是说就是你们比较不会去吹捧队友。那你觉得丁特今天表现如何？
还不错，除了吃了我2个蓝以外，
不让蓝给你是不是？
还不错，还不错。
好，那你有去跟他要蓝吗？还是他就是自己默默把它吃掉？
回去应该要罚钱吧，吃我2个蓝。
好，那最后我就要罚钱一下。那在比较有亮点的其实是第3场比赛，有看到你拿逆命世代传送，那其实是舍弃掉像鬼步和点蓝这样子的召唤师技能，是不是战术上有什么样的考量？
我只能说是一个智商的压制，我在这里我要感谢我爸妈给我这么高的智商去带 TP。
所以 TP 是你自己的选择，不是之前赛前就有